Hey, welcome back to iNotch Tuesday. We appreciate you signing in every week and having a lot of fun. This motorcycle and this guy have been on iNotch Tuesday maybe 5-6 times. This bike's appeared a couple times, once in the initial build, and then once when he went racing it and went down to Barber and raced it. But you've had a significantly expensive winter. This is Brian Smith, owner of the bike, and talk us through what you chased this winter.
After having the season last year, us together in AHRMA, we did a couple of rounds of AHRMA and left out of Barber with a little bit of a plan to get a little more horsepower in the bike, make it lighter, and to make the front end a little more firm and adjustable. So I consulted my mentor on this bike, the original builder, Chris Boy from Moto Corse Performance, who advised me that I needed to get an NCR, full Öhlins NCR front end on this thing, and that was the first thing we got going with. And then Nick said, you ought to think about putting a set of carbon wheels on this. And he put me in touch with Brock's Performance, and they were awesome people to deal with. Brock's Performance supplied a set of carbon wheels for this thing, along with the people from Worldwide and their ceramic bearings. And so I think the combination of the weight loss and the non-friction rolling on this thing made it a lot nicer piece to ride. Now, in addition, we incrementally built the motor. I went from when we left out of Barber last year, we had a stock 1000 cc, 87 horsepower on the dyno motor, Ducati motor, and then so we went to the Chris Boy spec Evo motor, which is around an 1130 cc, and jumped the horsepower and torque numbers quite a bit. So in the weight loss thing, we got on the scales when we were done at the end of last year. We weighed 370 pounds with about a quarter tank of fuel in it. And this year, last week, when it was all done, weighed it, and we were at 332 with about a quart of fuel in it. So quite a significant loss of weight. The power delivery, the power number difference was the 87 horsepower that I mentioned earlier to 127 horsepower with this motor. So it's a completely different motorcycle now, and I have to relearn everything. So here we go. I've been out on it once, did pretty good on it. My plan going out on it the first time was to not spin it up. And so now we're gonna get ready, get hunkering down, do some race practice, and hopefully do some better lap times at AHRMA races.
Brian lives in Philadelphia, and he has some local help. He was smart enough to hire Phil Sieberlich.
Yep.
Phil Sieberlich, if you know, one of the major domos of Faraci, won a bunch of world championships with Poland, national championships with Poland. So Phil now works for Brian at Brian's coating company, and of course Phil and Brian are working away in the garage a lot.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic local help. And the other thing that you did, you went to AWE Tuning,
right.
which I know is a Porsche shop.
Exactly.
And what'd they do for you?
Well, that's funny you should mention that, because Todd Sager, good friend of mine, owner of AWE Tuning, their expertise is building exhaust systems for exotic cars and now muscle cars and stuff. Mustangs, Camaros, they build exhaust for everything. One of the best companies out there, top-notch people. And I called him and I said, hey, Todd, how about we make an exhaust system for my bike? I'd been advised by Chris to go to a bigger diameter on the exhaust. And so Todd put me together with his head fabricator, this fellow named Ron Mangus, a great guy, a great fabricator. And in February, we put together the first exhaust system for this. Made it out of stainless. It was gorgeous. He made all the bends and got it tucked up in there just right. And as we were finishing that build, the Thai word came out. the cha-ching Thai word came out. And Ron actually said to me, he says, boy, it'd be really cool to build this out of Thai. And I said, can we? And he said, yeah, I can do anything. So then the Thai thing started, and we ordered the titanium parts and started in on the build for the titanium pipe, which is on it now. The titanium pipe changed the weight by 5.2 pounds, and three sections of pipe, not the canister, but the pipe itself, 5.3 pounds, and it was just amazing to be a part of it. I was the holder and cutter and grinder for Ron as he fit everything and welded everything together. just a masterfully done piece of art, and it works great, sounds great, and it's light.
This is a Paul Smart replica, and Brian Smith riding it. And what we've done some stories over the years on this type of project where you lighten the bike and you make it faster, and then it has to pay off, right? It has to pay off. You can't just be spending all this money, working this hard, and not having it pay off. So the beautiful thing is, in the first time out, Brian, you equaled or you bettered your race.
My lap times.
So he bettered his racing lap times on a track day, which of course you don't get a lot of super clear race laps, and you're holding back possibly a little bit. So now you've got a bike that's significantly lighter, 40 pounds lighter?
35 pounds.
35 pounds lighter and 30 more horsepower?
Yep.
So 35 pounds off, 30 horsepower added, and he's run better than his best racing lap times in practice. And that's what you're chasing, right, Brian? That's why you're doing all these things, to make the thing go quicker and still have a comfort level.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. Chris Boy kind of told me a long time ago. He said, "Hey, listen, get some power into that thing, and you won't have to risk so much in the turns." And that was pretty good advice for me.
We're at the AHRMA races here at New Jersey, 2017. This is iNotch Tuesday. This is just this whole column is just enjoying motorcycling of all kinds. And how much are we enjoying this motorcycle thing?
We're living a dream, brother. It's awesome.